Hello there, this is Shane from Shane's Books and Review. So to start this out, there was a viewer, his name is Jim EBT1. A couple of days ago, literally, he said, "Love that book, what do you think about Vampire $, the book?" And this was in reference to a video that was posted, Monday announcement, Armor by John Stakely will be our Friday video. So after I saw that, I'd been curious about getting other books from him. I replied to Jim and I said, "I don't know, perhaps I should check that out." And he replied to me yesterday saying, "In my opinion, it had some interesting elements with similar comments on war fatigue, PTSD, etc. I found his reuse of the same characters in a current times setting kind of distracting." Real quick work about the narrations and then we'll get into all that. So the narrations was done in this book by Tom Weiner. I kind of found some of Tom's audio work on this a little bit distracting, especially when it came to the character Cat, because I wasn't really sure if Cat was a effeminate male, a effeminate female, a female, or a male. I didn't know because of his portrayal of the character. Depending upon, that would really affect the way that particular scenes in the books played out. Yeah? But anyway, it doesn't matter because in the long of it all, the rest of the characters like Jack Crow and Felix were indeed rough and tumble as they should be. Other characters that were female were indeed portrayed as female. So it's not like a gripe or anything. Now back to the comment that Jim EVT1 made. I completely agree with that because after reading Armor, which was kind of like one of those epic yo-yo back and forth books, and I say that in a very friendly way, I highly enjoyed Armor. One, seeing these characters in a different time setting was really kind of weird. Two, I've always had an issue with whenever a author will write a book and then they'll go back and write another book. Even though they didn't use the same characters' names, you can tell it's the same characters. So kudos to John for not doing that and just keeping the characters' names the same. But yes, it was a bit confusing. Now, here's a question I want to pose to you, Jim, because if I remember correctly, John Stakely has passed away. So rest in peace. I wonder if he was going to create like a universe where we had a concurrent theme of Jack and Felix, or Crow and Felix, whichever way you want to look at those two, with the roles being reversed back and forth, with them just being such good friends that throughout the course of a universe happening and the time happening, that maybe their friendship was something that carried through the entire universe and they were always affecting things or trying to affect things in a positive way. It would have been neat to have seen that, and if that was kind of the way that he was going with this, man, what a treasure we missed out on. But curious, Jim, what's your thoughts on it? Lynette, calling you out too, what's your thoughts on it? Zach, could you post over here when this Vampires book was released? Down here, put whenever Anne Rice wrote Lestat's interview with a vampire, and then over here somewhere we could put Twilight on when that was released, because I have a suspicion because I see some similarities in between this book and the Twilight series and Anne Rice. So let's get into the overview of the book real quick. So we've got Jack Crow and Felix. Jack was a DEA/FBI/CIA/I will not be in the government, but I will forever be in the government kind of a character. And he was working as a narc, and he ends up running into Felix. They end up both admitting to what they are to each other and then agree that they can't do anything about it. Yes, they get treed and they end up getting drunk and telling stories. Now, this was actually one of the more interesting things to me from this book. Usually, whenever it comes to like vampires and all this kind of thing, it's been so done. But whenever I come across a good one, I can appreciate it in a big way. And this one didn't really so much focus on the vampires and the vampire culture and all that. It more focused on the vampire killers, which was kind of cool. I found that it was the interplay in between the characters, such as Cat and the big rough and tumble guy that was the tech. Corrales, I think. Jim. No, we'll just call him Mr. C. The way that everything worked out, you see, as the book opens, Jack has just lost almost an entire crew of people. And as the book is closing, kind of the same thing has happened again. So whenever it comes to Jim EVT1, your comments about the PTSD, yes, I certainly can see that because we watch Jack go through this and then decide with the way that things happen that he's kind of going to be out, and Felix, there's this interplay back and forth between them on which one's going to carry on, but not really said. It was kind of like a subtext. And seeing how all that kind of played out between them trying to get to Rome and something that Jack has said would happen with Felix actually coming to fruition. Zach, you know what to do. Please don't leave that in, but you will, won't you?
Fruition.
Okay, fair enough. It was really interesting to see all of that dynamic, all of that interplay. The rest of the stuff about the vampires, though, there wasn't really anything that was remarkable about them besides they were, supernatural, superhuman. They could affect us in different ways. Their strength was phenomenal, and some of the fight scenes, the descriptions in them, they were really done well. So feelings about the book. What did the book bring out? As Jim mentioned, a little bit of confusion, because trying to go from the happy-go-lucky character that owned a planet that was a drunkard, and the one that was trying to discover or find out what happened in the other books, these we had some completely different dynamics altogether, although their friendship was still there. It's a unique, special kind of friendship that doesn't happen very often. And there was a bit of sadness about it as well, because of seeing what these people would be going through and trying to put myself into their situation, how dramatic and how high-strung it would have to be all the time, and just how that would affect a person. So I really felt bad for the characters in the situation that they were in. And now for question of the week. A ragtag group of drunkard circus type people show up in your town. It just so happens that they're going next door and you end up getting caught up with them. Would you run with them? Would you take that fight on? Or would you say, oh no, hell no, and get out, like right now? Done. Out of it. Just curious to see which way you would go with it. And user call out, of course, goes to Jim this week. Congratulations, you get that. Thank you for the wonderful comment, because if you hadn't have brought that up, this one wouldn't have happened. Congratulations. Round of applause for Jim, please. Woo! Now the book we're going to be talking about next will be Aftershocks by Marco Close. Thank you so much for sticking it through. If you made it this far, you are a rock star. Thank you so much for doing that. It means a lot. Like, share, subscribe. This is Shane from Shane's Books and Review, and I wonder which one will you pick today? Will it be this one or this one? This one or this one? Completely up to you. But whichever way you go, I will see you in the next video. Peace.